Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to Yoga Awakening, and welcome to this quick check-in and move. Let's get started. So no real props required today. You certainly don't need anything. But we will have a moment near the end. If you happen to have a foam roller, you can bring that along, pause the video, and grab it. And if you don't have it, you'll have a different option. Also, we'll have a little moment for a legs up the wall. I'll just go ahead and use the couch here. You could also grab a couple pillows and use those instead if you don't have a wall handy in your practice space. But nothing really required, so don't worry too much about those things if you don't have them. We'll get started in a seat. So come on into a Sukhasana, perhaps with one heel in front of the other, or maybe ankles crossed. Feel free to take a different seated shape here if you prefer. And I'll go for one heel in front of the other, I think. Let's get right into a little bit of movement. Bring your right hand down to the mat. I'm not mirroring you, so I'm on the same side. Left arm up and overhead. Take a breath in. On your breath out, soften a little bit more into the shape. Inhale, come through center to switch sides. Left hand plants, right arm reaches. Big inhale. Exhale once again, just soften in, maybe half an inch more. Let's take that one more time. Over to the right, left arm reaches. Starting to connect in. Notice any sensations here. You're probably, hopefully feeling a nice stretch through the left side of the body. Some lengthening there. Inhale to come through center. Exhale into your second side. Feel some grounding down both through your left hand pressing into the mat and knees are heavy, grounding down through the thighs. Inhale, find your way back to center. Pause there. Feel that connection building through the torso, sides of the body. Take it over to your right into a seated twist, so right hand behind. Left hand wherever it comes. Maybe to the right knee, the right thigh. Notice if your inclination here was to really use your hands to push yourself into the twist, and that's not bad, but I invite you to just unwind again, maybe that half inch, that tiny bit. Notice that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift the hands, maybe noticing there what happens to your twist. Come back through center, second side. Over to the left, left hand behind. Inhale. Maybe now connecting to that inhale in the belly. Exhale, lift the hands. Notice what happens to your twist. Back through to center. Fingertips come out to tent either side. open the chest. Feel the shoulder blades getting closer together. And maybe that's just a subtle movement there with those tented fingertips, hands either side of the hips. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead, maybe the fingertips touch. Now noticing that opposite movement of the shoulder blades as they come up with your arms. Exhale to release, come back to fingertips on the mat. Let's move through that simple sun salute a few more times. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, release. Inhale, stretch the fingers. Exhale, nice controlled, smooth lower. Inhale, maybe you start to integrate the neck or the gaze, gazing up towards the fingertips as you lift, and exhale, chin towards chest. 2 more, inhale to reach. Exhale to lower. Inhale to reach. Exhale to lower. Let's come into tabletop. Find your setup on hands and knees. You could certainly grab something to bring underneath the knees if they're feeling a little bit close to the floor. Inhale. Drop the belly. Exhale, curl round the spine. Inhale, press into the tops of the feet. Open through the throat. Exhale, starting at the tailbone, drop the head. 1 more round, inhale. Exhale. Now it might feel good to send the hips side to side. Find a little bit of free flow. So you could look at me to get some ideas, maybe some circles with the hips, or you could go right into closing your eyes and just coming into your own body. One final option here, if you're looking for a little more energy, you could tuck the toes, send the hips back, press into the hands, send it to down dog, and then maybe take some spinal waves. So a few options. You could always just stick with your simple cat-cow and tabletop and just really focus in the awareness. Articulating the spine. So you don't always have to pick the more option. Maybe today less is more. Maybe your breath just becomes that little bit audible, using it as your soundtrack. you're in your down dog, maybe those spinal waves, come back. We'll all meet back in our tabletop with one final round of cat and cow. Great, walk your hands out just a little bit in front, tuck or curl the toes under, send it into plank pose. You could always lower down onto the knees here. Again, a couple of options depending on what sort of level of fieriness you're looking for. You might just hold in plank for a few moments. You could even hold and lower. Lift and lower. If you want a little bit more, maybe you take a couple of push-ups. Maybe that's your half chaturanga with the knees down, elbows back. Maybe it's some wide arm push-ups. So I like to bring my hands sort of half on and half off the mat, and then elbows go out to the side. Maybe you lower down a third of the way, maybe halfway. So again, options, holding in plank or half plank. Thinking about knitting the low ribs together. So you have a strong base. Send the heels back. Lift the backs of the knees. Maybe you have your half push-up or a full push-up. If those feel pretty good to you, maybe you're less familiar with the wide arm style that we don't do as much in yoga, maybe experiment with those. Taking 3 or 5 or 10. So take one more push-up. Wherever you are, one more, hold plank for a full round of breath. Little bit of core and arm check-in. And exhale, lower the knees. Wherever you are, sweep the arms back. Lower the head, child's pose. Feel that energy you've stirred up. Feel the heart beating. Maybe feeling the energy start to settle. Big exhale out through the mouth. Soften the shoulders. Come on up. Hips to heels, and then we'll send the feet off to one side so that you can come through again to your seat. And here's your option with that foam roller if you happen to have it. And if you don't have it, we'll really only be here for maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. So if you don't have that, go ahead and come right in to your legs up the wall. Or if you're eager to try out what we're doing, you could take a similar shape, but without the foam roller underneath you. So you could be lying down on your back in sort of this constructive rest shape. I have that roller right underneath the mid-back, and then I'm just going to lift the hips enough so that I can gently roll along the mid-back. This one feels really nice for me. And then pause anywhere along that path. set the hips down, and here's where you can join us if you're in your constructive rest. We'll bring the hands to interlace behind the base of the skull, and we're just taking these really small movements side to side. So think of that side stretch we did seated, a lateral bend. So not a twist, but just armpit coming closer to hip. You can do that same motion on the back. Then we're going to find one more spot. So roll a little further down or a little further up. Find a spot that feels nice and then repeat. Try to keep the back body heavy against the roller. So a little myofascial release here. Head is heavy in the hands, neck is relaxed. Come back to center, make your way up to a seat. If you are following along with the foam roller, set that aside and we'll meet everybody else in our legs up the wall, or for me, I'm gonna opt for legs up the couch. Nice benefit of doing yoga at home in your living room. Maybe you have a chair or a couch or a couple pillows there to prop the shins on. Soften or close the eyes. Upper body basically in Shavasana. You can stay here for as long as you like. Once again, feeling that stirring up of energy that we've created. Noticing how it settles or lands in the body. Maybe noticing any effects on the breath or the mind or just the state of your being. How do you feel after this really simple check-in? Does it shift anything for you? Stay for a couple more minutes if you like, or if you're coming to the end of your practice, we'll close it out here together. Make your way through a fetal pose as you come out of your legs up the wall variation. Find a seat. And say with me, hands at heart center, the light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.